Hello everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, Josh?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Ariel?
I'm doing great. ברוכים הבאים לפודקאסט של שפות-שלי. Welcome to our podcast. Me and Josh, as usual, Ariel and Josh. We're going to talk about some cool stuff today. הרבה דברים that the guys are going to like, שהגברים בטוח יאהבו, which is, what is that, Josh?
It's cars.
Cars
and driving.
Vehicles and driving.
לנהיגה.
לנהוג. אוקיי, אז אנחנו היום נדבר קצת אוצר מילים, שקשורים ל-transportation.
כן, אבל קודם אני רוצה לדעת, I want to know.
אוקיי.
Ariel, do you drive a car or do you ride a bike?
I drive a car.
You drive a car. Oh,
אוקיי.
very cool.
אז אני נוהג באוטו. לא רוכב אופניים. כמו בעברית, אי אפשר לרחוב על אוטו. אתה נוהג באוטו. אז באנגלית same מושג, right? I drive a car.
So I don't have a car.
Okay.
I have my license. However, I ride an electric bicycle.
You ride an electric, cool.
חשמלי.
Is it fast?
So that's funny that you ask. I had the option to put this, היה לי כזה אפשרות, to put this like box, זה קופסה שמתחברים לזה, שגורם לו
להיות יותר מהיר.
כן, yeah, it makes it go faster, but I don't know, I just thought about it, I don't really have a need for that. And,
you don't have a need for speed?
No need for speed.
Okay. אז בוא נדבר שנייה, like, what do you say the main benefits of driving a bicycle, electric bicycle?
Driving a bicycle?
Sorry, riding an electric bicycle.
Riding a bike.
Then driving a car. What are the benefits, Josh? What are the main benefits? I can tell you two and then you can think a little bit more.
Okay.
One is that you never get stuck in traffic.
כן.
Okay, זה יתרון. And פקקים.
Yeah. There's
האופניים חשמליים, אתה חותך בין הטראפיק.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to. I try not to.
Okay. And היתרון השני, that you are out in the open, out in the fresh air, which can be היתרון and החיסרון, can be an advantage and a disadvantage.
It's depending on the weather. But I would say that the best thing is I don't have to pay for gas.
Oh, okay.
So I can just charge it anywhere.
And how long does it take you to charge your bike? And how do you...
It takes about 30 minutes to an hour.
30 minutes to an hour? You charge it in your house?
In my house, and then I make sure it's unplugged when I'm not home.
Okay, and how do you, let's say, time your rides? How long would a ride last you on your electric bike? כמה זמן אתה יכול להיות עם אופניים שלך? כמה קילומטר או כמה זמן?
I'm not sure. I haven't, לא רכבתי אותו חוץ מנתניה, באזור שלנו. I would say, though, it takes me about 5 minutes to get from my house to here.
Okay.
So it's like a 15-minute walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've never tried to go like into the city with
No, I haven't. Not yet.
So you don't know the mileage you can do in it?
Not sure.
You've never been stuck short on electricity, though?
No, not yet.
Out of battery? Never?
No, never.
Okay, cool. אז אנחנו נשלב כמה דברים, כמה אוצר מילים של רכבים היום, ואופניים וכל מיני דברים, לרחוב, לנהוג, כל הביטויים החיים. What do you do with a horse, Josh, just before we move in? Would you drive a horse?
No, we ride.
We ride a horse.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
So let's discuss some parts of the car. Ariel, when we are driving a car, what do we use to steer? What is it to steer?
To steer, לכוון.
לכוון. To steer. How do you steer a car?
I use the steering wheel. Steering wheel, שזה ההגה בעצם.
Okay.
So בעברית we just say again, wheel.
Wheel.
And in Hebrew, in English, it's actually more detailed. The steering wheel, because we could have many types of different wheels. wheel זה גם גלגל בעצם.
כן.
אז בתרגום הישיר של steering wheel, זה גלגל כיוון.
גלגל כוונה.
הכוונה, yeah, כיוונים.
Very good. So, when you're in traffic and there are cars in front of you, what do you do with the steering wheel?
Generally, sometimes I'll honk.
What is it? You honk?
Honk.
What does it mean to honk?
I don't know if that's an appropriate saying.
No, you can. It's okay.
Honk the horn?
Yeah, you honk the horn.
אז מצפצף באוטו.
Okay.
Beep. Beep.
Do you ever get honked at?
Yeah, I do sometimes. Depends.
Okay. Does honking irritate you?
Not really, because this is Israel. בארץ, if you don't honk, you're not part of the crowd.
I get very irritated by honking. When someone honks at me, it feels very, very personal.
נכון.
Yeah.
בחול, אם אתה מצפצף, you honk, זה מאוד לא מנומס בדרך כלל, אבל בארץ זה מאוד מקובל, אנשים אוהבים לצפצף בכל מקום, ברמזור, ברמזור עצירה, זה משהו תרבותי.
They also have the chant. That's also very common too. I've heard that.
Of course.
For all types of political events, I think. Or holidays for that
Or sporting events.
Sporting events too, yeah. I can't tell the difference.
Okay.
All right, so when you're reversing, מה זה to reverse קודם?
Reverse, in Hebrew you just say reverse.
So, לחזור, when you're reversing, does your car have a camera on it in the dashboard that you can look in to see what's behind you, לראות מה אחורה, or do you have to look in rear view mirrors?
Okay, as in my car, I've got sensors on the back.
Okay.
No camera, but it just beeps if I'm too close to anything.
Oh, it beeps. Okay, that's cool.
So I know that if I'm getting close to somebody or something, slow down and then beeps.
Okay.
What would be your dream car, Josh? What car would you want to have? If you had to have a car, what car would you want to have?
You know, many people ask me that. It's interesting you ask me that because I've never been a person that really enjoyed or thought that cars were like something very, very magnificent. בטח אני יכול לראות כזה אוטו נחמד and say, wow, it's a nice car. But for me, it's never really had the same value, היכרות, that most people give to these things. However, it would be, I think... חשיבות, yeah. Well, it's not as valuable to me. It's not as important to me. However, I think it'd be cool to have maybe like a convertible, like nothing like super like fancy or like, you know, glamorous.
Okay.
But just to be able to have the top go down would be really nice in the summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice
That would
thing.
be cool.
I'll tell you what my dream car is.
What?
I would like to have, I've driven this car in the States, and it's just like a fun muscle car.
Okay.
And it gives you a sort of a very, like, when you get in the car, even though the interior is not too fancy, זה לא יותר מדי מפואר, but it's like, it's a fun ride. And it just gives you like a very manly feel.
Yeah.
Do you know which car I'm talking about? It's an American car.
Is it a Cutlass?
No.
No, I don't know.
It's a Mustang.
A Mustang, that was my second guess.
A Mustang is just, for my opinion,
Yeah.
okay, but that's personal belief. It's just it's got this very leathery interior.
My uncle has a Mustang, actually.
It's just such a fun drive.
It's fun to ride in them, yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those fun rides. Gives you
get this like burning gasoline smell.
Yeah, it gives you like really like an old school feel.
Yeah.
This is like it's like a modern car with an olden day feel.
Yeah.
Really makes me like nostalgic to the way cars used to be when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Which was like stick and like really like you could feel the steering wheel vibrate when you're driving.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Smell the gas. That would be like good fun.
What did you mean? You said something about stick. What is like
driving stick?
What does it drive? What does it mean?
Is that not in America? Is it used to say driving stick?
We have stick shifts.
Stick shift, yeah.
Maybe our viewers don't know.
Okay, אז driving stick זה לנהוג באוטו שהוא לא אוטומטי, שהוא אוטו ידני, שצריך להחליף הילוכים, gears.
Okay. And what do we call that? איך קוראים את הדבר הזה?
We call it a stick shift.
Stick shift. And are there pedals you need to do too? I never learned how to drive stick, actually. I've only learned automatic.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how to drive stick.
Okay, so I want to tell you that driving stick used to be the only way to drive in the old day.
I know.
And it was preferable.
Yeah.
Why? Because you have you have more control over the car. You can rev it as high as you want.
Yeah.
There's just a different feel to it. And you're basically using the pedals a lot because whenever you're changing gears, כשמחליפים הילוכים באוטו שהוא ידני, you've got to, צריך ללחוץ על הקלאץ', שזה אחד מהפדלים.
We call that the clutch.
We call it the clutch.
Yeah. Now, do you know which pedal it is? Because I'm looking at a picture of 3 pedals. Which
do you know that? Wait, sorry to interrupt you, but do you know they have a saying in Israel, which is like when you do something half-ass, or something is chetzi koach.
Chetzi clutch.
The chetzi clutch.
Okay, well, where I'm from, we actually have palm local gach. It was like slang. When you called something clutch, זה אומר שזה like כזה cool or like מושלם.
What do you mean?
Super clutch.
Super clutch.
Sounds like it's a
okay.
fun.
But do you know why? Like chetzi clutch would be like Chetze clutch, because you can drive chetze clutch, but it's not really, you're not really doing anything. You're not gearing up or down. You're not moving, right? The car, you're not really doing anything. That's what's like chetze clutch. You're like half. You're not really speeding up. You're not doing much. So it's an interesting bitui. It's an interesting like bitui in Hebrew.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What else do we have? Seatbelts. Do you wear a seatbelt on your...
I'm not wearing a seatbelt now. Are you wearing a seatbelt?
I'm not wearing a seatbelt. לובש seatbelt.
לובש חגורה?
זה מוזר. באנגלית אומרים לובש במקום חוגר חגורה.
כן.
לובש חגורה. wearing a seatbelt. אז דרך קרה לזכור את זה.
כן.
wearing.
כמו זה...
ללבוש. כאילו זה בגד. חגורה. היום, in olden days, פעם, ברור שברכבים שהנהגתי בהם, לא הייתה חובה, כי הדבר לא היה מצפצף. אבל במודern day cars, כולם נובשים להם חגורה, כי זה מצפצף, you don't put the חגורה.
So it doesn't honk though, it beeps.
It beeps, yeah, it beeps.
זה מילה אחרת באנגלית.
מילה אחרת.
beeping.
honking זה צפצוף חזק, וביפים זה ביפ.
זה כמו צל, ביפ ביפ. זה ביפ.
ו-honking, how does the honk sound?
זה יותר כזה...
נכון.
אני אשים, I'm gonna put some effects on it too.
Okay, מגניב לאללה. All right, so let's talk about some cool things, okay, which I've seen come in America. Okay, one is license plates. שפה,
what is a license plate?
license plate זה
צלחת
רישוי.
צלחת רישוי.
So that's
מה זה בעברית?
לוחית רישוי, not צלחת. לוחית רישוי.
In English we say it's a plate.
It's a plate.
אבל זה לא בצורה של צלחת.
נכון. So there's some funny ones באמריקה. People invest in the...
אפשר לקנות את... אם אתה קונה, אתה יכול לבחור מה אתה רוצה. מה כתוב, כן. רק אם אין מישהו חשב על זה קודם. If someone did it before you, then you can't do it. You can do something similar and change a digit.
It's really hard now because it's probably like domains.
Yeah.
You have to be really unique.
Very clever.
Yeah. And I've seen some weird stuff in America, like riding motorcycles, riding motorbikes without a helmet.
Yeah.
That's normal. That's allowed.
Well, it depends on where you are. You know, in some states, they're more lax, but other states you need to wear a helmet. It's like depending on the city and on the district, from what I understand.
I'll tell you where I saw it. I saw it on Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a guy riding a motorbike, a heavy 1000cc motorbike without a helmet.
Uh-oh.
He had a t-shirt on. On the back of the t-shirt, it said, you can read this, means my bitch fell off. That was a joke. But it's a true story. That was
okay.
נתרגם את זה או we're going to carry on? לא צריך לתרגם את זה. אוקיי, אז זה הביטוי שהרשום על החולצה.
כן, if you got it, you got it.
Okay.
So I would like to kind of sum up the lesson with some cool discussion prompts, right? So I'd like to know what you think. A learner driver must never drive alone. They must always be with a driver who is qualified and over 21 years old.
I would say that that is incorrect. I would go against this statement because I think that he should risk his own life, not risk the life of another 21-year-old while he's driving next to him.
Okay, so that's very pessimistic, and I see what you're saying. I agree with this because unfortunately there are when people are younger, they're more reckless, and it's very dangerous to be reckless and drive, especially if you're very social and put a lot of your friends in the car. Then you're putting your friends in danger as well.
But think about it. You know what the problem is with this like sort of statement is that it's not really practical. Okay,
why?
Because if you're driving in a car, it's you're 17-year-old, 16-year-old in America. 16, you can drive a car, right? In America, 16-year-old. You're not going to go out there looking for a 21-year-old, and if you find a 21-year-old to drive with you, he's probably so not responsible. He's not going to sit in the car with you and tell you, oh dude, you're going too fast.
Well, the implication is that they're with someone 21 and up means, you know, a sibling or a parent or something. I think you're getting a little bit caught in the details of like, you know, the
True, but let's say you have a friend who's an older brother or he comes with you in the car.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to bypass this sort of situation. I would be like maybe if you're a young driver, have a camera installed in the car all the time that records your driving, and therefore, or put a speed, sort of limit the speed in the car, or send some kind of details to the police. If you cross the speed limit, they'll be a lot smarter than giving it to a 21-year-old or a sibling to drive with you in the car.
Well, my brother drives, and my parents told me that they have a phone tracker application that can track where he is, but it also tracks like his speed when he's driving and stuff. So
no way.
Yeah, so
that's smart.
They can tell when he's driving erratically, but I suppose he always drives safely because they've never had any complaints.
Yeah. He's safe.
I'm very proud of him. Yeah,
that's very good. Awesome.
All right. Parallel parking is the most difficult part of a driving test.
Look, parallel parking. When I did the driving test, it was you had to do it one shot. You cannot correct. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot. אי אפשר לתקן. אז מה זה parallel parking בעברית?
אני אפילו לא יודע. It's when you're מתי שאתה צריך לחנות
בין שתי מכוניות. עכשיו, איפה שאני עשיתי את המבחן, שזה היה בדרום אפריקה, אתה לא יכול לתקן. You can't correct. You gotta have one shot. יש לך, מותר לך להזיז את האוטו בתנועה אחת. So you can't stop, you can't brake, you can't correct. You gotta go in, you can't לזוז קדימה, you gotta one shot it completely. So that's a test. Now, if you don't put in one motion, בתנועה אחת, you fail.
Wow.
So it's very doable because you practice it like a lot, like before. So you get it in one shot and they give you decent space in the test. But it's an easy fail if you screw up.
That's very, very stressful. Did you pass your first time?
I did. But the country I come from is not really a good example because they tend to be a bit relaxed with the laws, like in terms of stringency. But I did a conversion test in Israel. Did you do a conversion test?
I didn't have to take a test. I just did the process. I didn't actually. I'm still waiting for the ID to come in.
The Israeli driver's
license? A year later, but I'm in the system.
Really? You're in the Israeli driving system?
Yeah, I am. I should be at least.
Okay, nice.
So, where do you go to take the test in South Africa?
You go to South Africa's version of Misala Rishui, which would be like...
what is it called?
It's called driver's testers place. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a... Can't remember.
Okay,
but it's a driver's testing area.
Yeah.
That's how we call it. Then you go in there, you go with your teacher, and then your teacher would get out of the car, there'd be an instructor, and generally you'd be with two more students in the car, and you would each change over. Yeah, they would they're trying to get you out.
That's even more pressure.
Yeah, but it's pretty funny because you watch the different little fails that go on and what happens. Better to go last. It's better to do it with 2 or 3 people in the car and go last because in that case you can learn from the mistakes and say, well, you guys made a mistake, and you can learn from the mistakes and maybe concentrate, focus on actually getting through.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. Okay, I almost failed my driver's test because I was at a stop sign. Okay, and you have to stop behind the line, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is that it was at an intersection. And therefore, I had to go slowly into the road, okay, and then take my turn. So now there was a car which was coming, and it was at a distance of about 300 or 400 meters, which according to the law should be good, okay? But the moment I hit the gas and started to go a little bit beyond the line and start to improve my vision to go, the tester hit the brakes, stalled my car completely. It was a manual. So the moment he hits the brakes, my car stalls, switches off. What is a stalled car?
It's when the
מנוע קצר, בום, נתקעת. So, אני מסתכל על הבוחן, the tester, the driving tester, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I had enough space. He says, no, you didn't. So we're still looking at the car still hasn't come past. We're having a discussion. I told him, look, if you count 10 seconds, it's going to pass. It's like 1, 2. I'm looking at him, and the car took about, let's say, 8 seconds to pass. I had well more than enough time. So I'm driving back, and I'm doing the rest of the thing the best I can. But in my head, I knew I failed because the moment the tester stalls your car, 99% you failed. But truth is, I did everything else very calmly because in my head it was over.
Yeah.
It was right in the beginning of the test.
Yeah.
So I did everything the best I could and drove as naturally as I could for the rest. I looked all the time in the mirrors. The teacher looked central mirror, rearview mirror on the left, mirror on the right. rearview mirror, all the time looking, indicating when I'm changing lanes. Drove very, very carefully and ended up passing the test.
Yeah. Very cool.
So it's a nice little positive story.
It's an awesome story.
All right, so now let's go on to, I'm going to ask you one more question about driving, and I think we're done for today, about driving Lנהיגה. And maybe we can discuss something that is very, very debatable. What age should the driving license be given? Do you think the American way is the right way? כי בארצות הברית נותנים רישיון נהיגה בגיל 16. So do you think it's the right way to have a driving license given at the age of 16?
I'm very torn on this. I really can't.
מה זה torn?
torn.
קרוע. למה אתה קרוע?
Because on one hand, I think that there are many American teenagers who are very natural drivers. They're very responsible, and it's just practice for adult life.
Okay.
So there should be no reason why they shouldn't have that ability to. However, at the same time, on the other hand, there are a lot of irresponsible teenagers, and because of that, they can be very, make bad decisions, and if they're driving, people can get hurt or killed even. So I think that realistically, maybe the punishments should be more intense. In America, they have punitively, when you're a teenager, it's actually, things are less, the law is not as harsh on you. If you do
on a teenage driver?
On a teenager. Even if it's reckless and even if it's bad, it's still, obviously there's like punishment and stuff, but it's not like they're being treated as an adult always, unless there's like a specific case. And I think maybe if it was like explained that offenses that teenagers make, if an offense is made in a car, it's always as an adult, something of that sort. I really can't know. I'm not an expert on law and order or the criminal justice system, but I really don't know how else to make those irresponsible teens be responsible.
I understand. You're saying in terms of the repercussions that they face if they make a mistake.
Yeah.
I think that it's a very difficult debate because at the end of the day, the more experience you get, the more you say on you get, the more safe driver you are.
Yeah.
So there's no other way to do it besides than getting these people on the road. So maybe there should be a year where you're obliged to go to do driving lessons or go to a place where you can drive a car on track, or do something which is like to get mileage under your
Maybe you have to do something after you've passed your test. You pass the test, you have your license, but now you need to complete the course of more driving practice.
Advanced driving, maybe.
Advanced driving, something like
they
that.
They have advanced driving courses in South Africa, which are very exciting. Like I'm talking about handbrake turns, stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's to avoid being kidnapped.
It's a good one, true. נכון מאוד. All right, so מקווה שזה לא היה משעמם. It was a topic
that was fun.
I enjoyed it. Cars are always cool.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we can discuss planes.
And then helicopters.
And then helicopters, we can move on.
Yeah.
אנחנו מנסים, the purpose of today's podcast is basically to get you into אוצר מילים חדשים כל הזמן, לחוש, להקשיב. אם אתם רצים, הולכים, בים, מתאמנים, הולכים לישון, כמה שיותר אנגלית אתם מקשיבים, the more English you listen to, not just, וגם אני וג'וש מדברים אנגלית עם דיאלקט מאוד מאוד שונה, אני עם דיאלקט עם מבטא אפריקאי, וג'וש עם מבטא אמריקאי, ולכן הערבוב הזה של האנגלית גם טוב לאוזן, because you can actually train your ear to understand a different English accent, and that improves your understanding in English, which is I think important. So תמשיכו להזין, ואם יש לכם איזה topic מסוים שאתם רוצים להקשיב, write us, we're here, תכתבו לנו, WhatsApp us, phone us, write us an email, go to Josh's house, steal his electric bicycle, they'll grab his attention.
Okay.
And we'll love to see you guys again next time, and תודה רבה שהקשבתם לנו.
תודה רבה.
Bye-bye.